Hello, my dear friend. I see you there, perhaps sitting in your favorite chair, maybe looking out the window, wondering what comes next. If you're recently retired or approaching retirement, and you're feeling a mix of emotions that you didn't expect, relief mixed with anxiety, excitement tangled with fear, I want you to know that you're not alone. Maybe you thought retirement would feel like freedom, but instead it feels like uncertainty. Maybe you expected to feel happy and relaxed, but instead you're lying awake at night worrying about things you never worried about before. Maybe you're questioning whether you made the right decision, whether you're prepared for what's ahead, whether you'll be okay. If your mind is spinning with what ifs, what if I run out of money? What if I get sick? What if I become a burden? What if I lose my independence? What if I'm forgotten? What if I made a mistake? Then this conversation is for you. Retirement is supposed to be the reward for decades of hard work, but for many of us, it can feel more like stepping off a cliff into the unknown. The structure that defined your days is gone. The identity that came with your career has shifted. The future that once seemed clear now feels uncertain. Today, in our What About Me conversation, we're going to talk about these fears with the gentleness and understanding they deserve. We're going to explore why retirement can trigger anxiety even when it's something we've looked forward to. And most importantly, we're going to discover gentle, practical ways to transform fear into freedom. Because you deserve to enjoy this phase of your life. You deserve to feel excited about your future, not anxious about it. You deserve to embrace retirement as the gift it can be, not endure it as something to survive. First, let me tell you something important. If you're feeling anxious about retirement, you're not broken, you're not ungrateful, and you're not alone. Retirement anxiety is incredibly common, and it makes perfect sense when you understand what's really happening in this transition. For decades, your life has been structured around work. You knew what you were supposed to do each day, where you were supposed to be, what was expected of you. Your identity was partly defined by your job, your colleagues, your professional achievements, and now suddenly that structure is gone. It's like you've been dancing to music for 40 years, and suddenly the music stops. You're still capable of dancing, you still have all the moves, but without the rhythm to guide you, you feel lost and uncertain. This disorientation is completely normal. Your anxiety might be showing up in different ways. Maybe you're worrying constantly about money, even though you've planned carefully for retirement. Maybe you're obsessing about your health, suddenly aware of every ache and pain. Maybe you're feeling isolated and wondering if you matter to anyone now that you're not working. You might be experiencing what psychologists call role exit, the process of disengaging from a role that was central to your identity. When someone asks, "What do?" you might stumble over the answer. When you wake up in the morning, you might feel purposeless because there's nowhere you have to be. There's also something called retirement syndrome, a period of adjustment that can include depression, anxiety, and even physical symptoms as your body and mind adapt to this major life change. This isn't a character flaw. It's a normal response to a significant transition. And let's be honest about something else. Retirement often comes at a time when other losses are accumulating. Maybe you've lost parents, friends, or your health isn't what it used to be. Maybe your children are busy with their own lives and you're feeling less needed. These losses can compound the anxiety of retirement. Your fears aren't irrational. They're your mind's way of trying to prepare for and protect you from potential challenges. The key is learning to work with these fears rather than being paralyzed by them. Let me walk you through some of the most common fears that people experience around retirement, so you can see that whatever you're feeling, you're in good company. Fear number 1, running out of money. This is the big one, isn't it? Even if you've saved diligently, even if you've worked with financial planners, there's something terrifying about living on a fixed income for potentially decades. You worry about inflation, unexpected expenses, market crashes, long-term care costs. Fear. Number 2, declining health. Suddenly, every doctor's appointment feels more significant. You're more aware of your mortality, more conscious of your body's changes. You worry about becoming a burden, losing your independence, facing serious illness without the structure and insurance of employment. Fear number 3, loss of purpose and relevance. Who are you if you're not your job title? What's your purpose if you're not contributing to the workforce? Will anyone need you? Will you matter? These existential questions can be deeply unsettling. Fear. Number 4, social isolation. Your work colleagues were a big part of your social life. Now what? Will you make new friends? Will you have anything interesting to talk about? Will you become one of those lonely old people you used to feel sorry for? Fear. Number 5, boredom and emptiness. What will you do with all this time? What if retirement is just nothing? What if you discover that without the pressure and purpose of work, life feels meaningless and empty? Fear number 6, regret. What if you retired too early, too late? What if you didn't save enough? What if you wasted your career? What if you made the wrong choices and now it's too late to fix them? Fear. Number 7, being forgotten. Will your former colleagues remember you? Will your contributions matter? Will you fade into irrelevance? This fear of being forgotten can be particularly acute for people who had high-profile careers or leadership roles. Here's what I want you to know about these fears. They're all understandable, they're all normal, and they're all manageable. Having these fears doesn't mean they'll come true. It means you're human and you're processing a major life change. Now, my dear, I want to help you think about your fears in a completely different way. Instead of seeing them as evidence that something is wrong, what if we could see them as information, as your wise inner self trying to help you prepare for and navigate this transition? Fear, at its core, is designed to keep us safe and help us prepare for challenges. When you're afraid of running out of money, your fear is actually saying, let's make sure we have a solid financial plan. When you're afraid of being lonely, your fear is saying, let's prioritize building and maintaining relationships. Instead of trying to eliminate your fears, which is usually impossible anyway, let's learn to listen to them and respond to them constructively. Each fear can become a roadmap for action, a guide for what areas of your retirement need attention and planning. Financial fears can motivate you to review your budget, perhaps work with a financial advisor, explore ways to reduce expenses, or even consider part-time work if that would make you feel more secure. The fear isn't the problem. Lack of a plan might be. Health fears can encourage you to take better care of yourself, establish relationships with good healthcare providers, research long-term care insurance, and create advanced directives. Again, the fear is pointing you toward important preparations. Social fears can inspire you to be more intentional about maintaining existing relationships and creating new ones. Maybe you need to join groups, volunteer, take classes, or reach out to old friends. Your fear is highlighting an important need. Purpose fears can guide you toward exploring what gives life meaning beyond work. Maybe it's volunteering, mentoring, creative pursuits, learning, or spending time with family. Your fear is asking an important question: what matters to you now? When you reframe fear as information rather than threat, it becomes much more manageable. Instead of being paralyzed by anxiety, you can be motivated by it to take constructive action. Let me remind you of something important that you might have forgotten in the midst of all this anxiety. You are incredibly capable. You have successfully navigated decades of adult life, career challenges, family responsibilities, and countless obstacles. You have skills, wisdom, and resilience that you've built over a lifetime. Think about all the challenges you've already overcome: job changes, family crises, health scares, financial setbacks, relationship difficulties. You've handled them all. You've adapted, learned, grown, and survived. Why would retirement be different? You have something now that you didn't have when you were younger: perspective. You know what matters and what doesn't. You're less concerned with impressing others and more focused on what brings you joy and fulfillment. You have the wisdom that comes from experience. You also have resources now that you might not have had before. Financial resources, yes, but also time, freedom from certain obligations, and the ability to make choices based on what you want rather than what you have to do. Here's something else to consider. Many of the things you're afraid of are either unlikely to happen or manageable if they do. Most retirees don't run out of money if they've done basic planning. Most health problems develop gradually and can be managed. Most people find new sources of purpose and connection if they're intentional about it. And even if some challenges do arise, you have the skills to handle them. You've been solving problems your entire adult life. You know how to research, plan, ask for help, and adapt to changing circumstances. These skills don't disappear when you retire. I want you to start building what I call your retirement confidence account. Every day, remind yourself of one thing you've successfully handled in the past. Every week, take one small action that addresses one of your fears. Every month, celebrate one aspect of retirement that you're enjoying or looking forward to. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's the belief that you can handle whatever comes. And based on your track record of handling life's challenges, that belief is well-founded. Now let's talk about some specific, practical strategies you can use to manage retirement anxiety when it arises. These aren't magic solutions, but they are tools that can help you feel more in control and more calm. Strategy 1. The 10-minute worry window. Instead of trying to suppress anxious thoughts, give yourself permission to worry, but only for 10 minutes a day. Set a timer, write down all your worries, let yourself feel the anxiety fully. When the timer goes off, you're done worrying for the day. If anxious thoughts arise later, remind yourself that you'll address them during tomorrow's worry window. Strategy 2. The action plan response. For each major fear, create a simple action plan. If you're worried about money, your plan might include reviewing your budget monthly, meeting with a financial advisor quarterly, and researching part-time work options. Having a plan transforms anxiety into purposeful action. Strategy 3. The gratitude practice. Every morning, write down 3 things you're grateful for about your retirement. Maybe it's sleeping in, having time to read, or not dealing with work stress. This practice trains your brain to notice the positives rather than focusing only on the fears. Strategy 4. The connection commitment. Make a commitment to maintain or create at least one meaningful social connection every week. Call a friend, have coffee with a neighbor, attend a group meeting, volunteer somewhere. Loneliness amplifies anxiety, so prioritizing connection is crucial. Strategy 5. The learning adventure. Choose something new to learn or explore each month. It could be a hobby, a skill, a subject you're curious about, or a place you've never visited. Learning keeps your mind engaged and gives you something to look forward to. Strategy 6. The body wisdom practice. Anxiety lives in the body as much as the mind. Practice deep breathing, gentle exercise, yoga, or meditation. Take walks in nature. Pay attention to what your body needs and honor those needs. Strategy 7. The professional support option. If your anxiety feels overwhelming or persistent, consider talking to a counselor who specializes in life transitions. There's no shame in getting professional help. It's actually a sign of wisdom and self-care. Remember, you don't have to use all of these strategies. Choose the ones that resonate with you and start small. The goal isn't to eliminate all anxiety, it's to manage it so it doesn't control your life. One of the biggest sources of retirement anxiety is the loss of structure and purpose that work provided. But here's the beautiful truth. You get to create your own structure now. You get to define your own purpose. This isn't a loss, it's an incredible opportunity. Creating structure. Start by establishing some basic routines that give your days shape. Maybe it's a morning walk, a regular coffee time, a weekly volunteer commitment, or a daily creative practice. You don't need to schedule every minute, but having some anchors in your week can provide comfort and direction. Think about the rhythm that feels right for you. Some people thrive with more structure, others prefer more flexibility. Some like to be busy, others prefer a slower pace. There's no right way to do retirement. Discovering purpose. Purpose in retirement doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It can be as simple as being available for your grandchildren, maintaining a beautiful garden, volunteering at a local charity, or pursuing a creative passion you never had time for. Your purpose might be different from what it was during your working years, and that's perfectly fine. Maybe your purpose now is to model what healthy aging looks like. Maybe it's to be a source of wisdom and support for others. Maybe it's to finally pursue something you've always been passionate about. The contribution question. Ask yourself, how do I want to contribute to the world now? It doesn't have to be through paid work. Maybe you contribute through volunteering, mentoring, creating something beautiful, or simply being a loving presence in people's lives. The legacy lens. Think about what you want to be remembered for. What kind of ancestor do you want to be? What stories do you want your grandchildren to tell about you? This perspective can help guide your choices and give meaning to your days. Remember, purpose and structure can evolve. What feels right in your first year of retirement might change in your 5th year. Stay flexible and open to growth and change. I want to help you shift your focus from what you've lost in retirement to what you've gained. Because there are genuine gifts in this phase of life that you might not be recognizing while you're focused on your fears. The gift of time. For the first time in decades, your time is truly your own. You can read a book without feeling guilty. You can take a nap without apologizing. You can spend an entire afternoon doing something you love without worrying about what you should be doing instead. The gift of choice. You get to choose how to spend your days based on what brings you joy, not what pays the bills or meets others' expectations. You can say yes to invitations you would have had to decline. You can pursue interests that work never allowed time for. The gift of perspective. You've lived long enough to know what really matters. You're less likely to get caught up in drama or stress about things that aren't truly important. You have the wisdom to focus on what brings meaning and joy. The gift of relationships. You now have time to invest in relationships in ways you couldn't when you were working full-time. You can be the friend who's available for long conversations. You can be the grandparent who has time for adventures. You can nurture connections that feed your soul. The gift of learning. You can learn for the pure joy of learning, not because you need the knowledge for work. You can explore subjects you've always been curious about, develop skills you never had time for, or dive deep into interests that fascinate you. The gift of service. You can contribute to causes you care about without worrying about how it affects your career. You can volunteer your time and skills to make a difference in ways that align with your values. The gift of adventure. You can travel during off-peak times when it's less crowded and less expensive. You can take longer trips. You can explore places and experiences that work schedules never allowed. These gifts don't negate your fears or minimize the challenges of retirement, but they can coexist with your concerns and provide balance to your perspective. Let me give you 3 specific, gentle action steps you can take this week to begin transforming your retirement fears into retirement confidence. Action. Step 1. The fear inventory and action plan. Write down your 3 biggest retirement fears. For each fear, write 1 small practical action you can take this month to address it. If you're worried about money, maybe you schedule a meeting with a financial advisor. If you're worried about loneliness, maybe you research local groups to join. Turn your fears into your to-do list. Action Step 2. The gratitude and joy practice. Every day this week, write down 1 thing you're grateful for about retirement and 1 thing that brought you joy that day. This practice will help retrain your brain to notice the positives rather than focusing only on the fears. Action Step 3. The connection commitment. Reach out to 1 person this week who could be part of your retirement support system. It could be an old friend, a family member, a former colleague, or someone new you'd like to get to know better. The goal is to strengthen your social connections, which are crucial for managing anxiety. These steps are small and manageable, but they're also powerful. They help you move from passive worry to active preparation, from isolation to connection, from fear to empowerment. My dear brave friend, your fears about retirement don't define your future. Your response to those fears does. You have the power to transform anxiety into action, worry into wisdom, and fear into freedom. You are not too old to adapt, too set in your ways to change, or too fragile to handle whatever comes. You are a woman with decades of experience successfully navigating life's challenges, and retirement is just another chapter in your story of resilience and growth. Your fears are not your enemies. They're your advisors, pointing you toward areas that need attention and preparation. When you listen to them with wisdom rather than panic, they become tools for creating the retirement you want, rather than obstacles to enjoying it. This phase of your life can be one of the most fulfilling, joyful, and meaningful you've ever experienced. You have the time, wisdom, and freedom to create a life that truly reflects who you are and what matters to you. So be gentle with yourself as you navigate this transition. Trust in your ability to handle whatever comes. Take small, brave steps toward the retirement you want. And remember, You've earned this time, you deserve to enjoy it, and you have everything within you to make it beautiful. Your best years are still ahead of you. Embrace it and gain your freedom fully.